Hi, everyone. Want to make sure you guys can hear me and see me well for this next class. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Where's everyone from today? Perfect. Thank you. Just going to wait a few more minutes to make sure everyone has a chance to get on for the 7 o'clock contour class. Hi, I'm from Jersey too. Hi from Sacramento. Hi from Florida. I wish I was in Florida. Right now it's raining here. Let me know if the lighting is good. I'm not sure if it's a little too bright. Let's play with it a little bit. Ooh, is that better? Is the brightest? That might be good. I hope you guys are all staying safe and well during this time. Hi to everyone tuning in. I'm just waiting on a few more minutes to make sure everyone has a chance to log on. I hope you guys enjoy the class today. Oh, don't worry. We're going to go through all your contouring questions. Something that is made to seem so difficult but is super easy to achieve. Hi, everyone that's now tuning in. I'm from Jersey too. Yes, I'm going to explain it in the easiest, simplest way without having it be made super complicated. Contouring is easy, I promise. Oh, I'll show you guys how to shrink your nose. Okay, let's get started. So my name is Lorena and I am a makeup artist here in Jersey, and I'm here today with MAKIAGE to teach you all about contouring 101. Thank you everyone for joining now. So I've been a makeup artist for about 6 years and I'm a freelance makeup artist. So I do all types of events. I do mainly bridal. I do a lot of photo shoots. And like I said, I've been doing it for a few years now. So I'm pretty knowledgeable in like all skin tones, skin types, facial features. So shoot me any questions you guys have during this contouring 101. Before we get started, I just want to let everyone know that this YouTube live will be saved. So if you guys missed something, you can always go back and rewatch at a later time. And at the end, you guys will all receive a special offer in your email for joining this class. And what that is a try before you buy. So what that means is any of the products that I do use today, you will be able to try 1 to 3 of the products before you buy. So what that means is all you have to do is pay for the shipping, which is $5, and you will be able to try these products for 14 days. During that 14-day period, whatever you do not love, you are able to send back, and whatever you do love, you will be able to keep, and you will then be charged for the items that you do keep. But I can assure you, you guys are going to love these products that I'm using today. They are so user-friendly, and I love them myself, and I even use them in my own kit. So I'm sure you'll love them. So to start off, I already have my light foundation base and concealer under my eyes from a previous class that I did, which was the concealing video. And of course, I used our foundation, which is the Woke Up Like This foundation. I'm shade 110, just for reference. I am shade 110, and it's my perfect match. I love this foundation. It is so great, lightweight, but buildable. I just have a really light layer on because I don't like anything too heavy. And again, this is also a part of the try before you buy. So you can try this for 14 days. And you can also take the Power Match quiz to find your perfect shade, which is so important because I always have trouble finding my shade, especially since I do have an olive undertone. It's always a little tricky. So I have shade 110 on right now. And to do contouring, you always want to make sure you have your foundation base on first. Then we can build on top and add dimension, which is what contouring does. So contouring is when we are going to emphasize our facial features. I know I'm sure you guys see pictures of contouring where it's like a lot of lines on your face. And yes, you can do that. For beginners, that can be a little bit intimidating. So I'm going to show you a really simple way on how to do contouring. And one of my favorite ways is actually using a concealer that's darker than your natural color. So in the concealer, our concealer, the FM Flawless Concealer, I would be number 8. To contour, I am going to use number 13. So this is a few shades deeper than my complexion. And to contour, I like to do a cream first. And by doing a cream first, allows me to blend really well, and it actually will help my contour stay on all day, opposed to just using a powder first. And I'll show you what I mean. So with contouring, it's all about emphasizing your facial features. I like to emphasize my cheekbones, and I like to slim out my jawline. Everyone's face is always different. So what you do on one face, you're always not going to do on another face. Now, a rule of thumb though, to contour is always contouring in a 3 formation. That's just like a good rule to start. I'm going to also try to answer your questions as I'm explaining. So, like I said, a 3 formation. First, this is going to be your guide. I start from the top of my ear to the bottom of my mouth, and this is going to be where you want to contour your cheekbones. And if you feel with your finger, you can feel your cheekbones right underneath here. So I'm going to draw a line like this, and you can see it's a few shades darker. A lot of people contour with a very, very, very dark shade, which you can also do. I like to start off light. I don't like to go too dark because then it gets messy. I can do that with the powder layer later on. This is just going to be my guide. Right there, and I'm going to contour right underneath my jawline, and I do this to slim out my jawline. So again, this is going to be like the 3 formation. Now, on my forehead, I have a smaller forehead, and if I apply too much product here, it's just going to shorten my forehead, so I'm not going to do too much. And this is when it's important to get familiar with your face, what you want to contour, if you have a larger forehead and you want to make smaller, then you can contour a lot all around your hairline. I hope that makes sense. Yes, so sometimes I even take, and I'll show you that right now. Sometimes I even take a darker shade of our foundation, um, and I contour as well. I do the same thing, and this is a lot darker, or it's about the same actually. This is like my summer tan shade. And you can also contour with a deeper foundation. So now I'm going to take our Foundation 101 brush and blend this out. And the same way you blend your foundation, you just want to blend this out by buffing it in. Now this is just going to be a very, very light contour, but that's when we can go in with a darker powder to emphasize it more so it shows up. This would be like a very natural contour for someone that's just starting to get into contour and doesn't want anything too extreme. So that's a very light contour. Let me try to answer your questions. So that's why I like to contour underneath my chin, because it does emphasize and get rid of, sometimes I have a little double chin, and it does get rid of that. Okay, so since this is a cream, you want to set it with a powder. And this is when the bronzer, the wannabe bronzer comes in. This is going to be a lot deeper than my shade now, since it is a bronzer. And the same way we applied in a 3 formation, you just want to set that contour right underneath the cheekbone. Now remember, you never want to go too low. You always want to keep it right in that socket. If you go too low, you're just going to bring your contour down and droop it. If you already see by how high I'm bringing it, this side of my face already looks higher and more slimmed out. And again, I'm just going to set my forehead with that bronzer and then contour even more underneath my jawline, just to slim that out. And what I love about this specific bronzer, this is our Mineral Baked Bronzer, again in the shade Wannabe, is that it's very, very thin, so it never looks cakey on your face. If you just want to dust it on your face for a bronze look, you can. If not, you can do a few layers and it works as the perfect contour shade. It's a really, really nice contour shade for light to medium skin tones. You see the difference? So on my specific face, I stop it right over here, the contour, right under the apples of my cheeks. And I do this because it lifts up my cheekbone. If you see the socket right here, I'm applying it right in the socket. It perfectly contours. Now, to contour your nose, I actually love taking our concealer brush. It's a little dual fiber brush. And I take the bronzer. And to slim out my nose, you always want to slim out the edges. You want to go on the top part of your nose to slim out right the edges. This is really helpful if you want to shrink your nose. It's like an illusion. If you have a little bit of a wider nose, you want to go inwards to make sure it's very, very slimmed out. So I'll take that bronzer and I'll just go in a straight line. So you already see the difference? It instantly contours it. Instantly slimmed out. Let me see if I can answer some of your questions. So I personally like to just use powder for the nose. Nose contour is something where in photos it looks really, really, really great, but sometimes in person it looks very heavy. I don't like to do too much contouring on my nose. Um, so I found that for me, it works better if I just use a powder because it always looks very light and natural. Now, if you wanted it to be more intense, then you definitely can go in with a cream and then set it with a bronzer. And this is a really, really great way to slim out that nose. How do you apply bronzer? So bronzer, you always want to apply in a 3 formation on your face. And I'm doing half my face so you guys could see the difference. Always in like a 3 formation. But I always like to keep it up because it really does bring your cheekbone higher. Let's see what other questions you guys have. So I choose a bronzer because if you go in with like a darker powder, like a contour powder, something that's even deeper, sometimes it gets a little too muddy. A bronzer is really great because it always looks soft, but it still gives you that definition. And you can use it in more ways than other. The bronzer, sometimes I just dust all over my face for like a little bit of a bronze glow, or with this, I could really contour. Now, for people who love more of like an intense contour, I'm going to show you a little trick that you can use with your concealer. So when you take your concealer, I'm going to take a lighter shade of our concealer, which is number 8, which was the shade I used under my eyes. And I'm going to apply right under the contour. Now, this is like highlighting and contouring. And basically what that does is going to emphasize the contour and make it look even sharper. It's the same way that people apply a brighter color to the tip of the nose because it's going to emphasize it even more. You can't have contouring without the highlighting. So now that that's there, you just want to make sure you blend it out. And you never want to blend it up too high because then you're going to blend out your contour. Just want to make sure it has an even blend. And this is why I love using our foundation brush. And instantly it just gives you an even more pronounced contour line. And then I'll blend out my nose too. Let's see what questions you guys have. Do you use bronzer in the same areas as you contour, or do you have to apply them in different places to not look absolutely horrid? So I applied it in the same areas, which is why I prefer a bronzer, because a bronzer is more of like a warmer tone. It's going to give you more of a sun-kissed look. Contouring is typically more of like on a grayer scale. It's a little bit cooler. So what that means, it's going to really, really give you definition, which if you use both in a cream and a powder, you're not really going to look bronzed. You're just going to look more sculpted, if that makes sense. And again, I'm just going to blend this out with my brush in really light tapping motions. And then I'll go back in with my finger and just tap it out. There we go. Yep, I'm going to use blush also just to complete the look. Because contouring is really easy to explain, but you have to also see it with all the other products on your face, because on an everyday, you're going to also do blush, highlighter, and all those products. So it's good to see them all together. So this is one side of my face. This is with no contouring, no definition, no bronzing. You can really see the difference in how it really lifts my cheekbones, especially in this area right here. You could definitely use a pore filling primer to eliminate pores, and this is why I always recommend our poreless primer. This is it. This is also from MAKIAGE, and it's great because it's an awesome smoothing primer that you can use underneath in areas that you have pores to make sure that everything is super smooth. Do you have to put, sorry, my dog is going crazy now. Let's see what other questions you guys have. So I'm gonna put on blush now. I love blush. I love, love, love blush. I feel like it just makes your face look a lot brighter. Think about it. When you don't have makeup on, sometimes we have redness in our face. We have different tones. So if you just put bronzer on, that's great. I love bronzer, but I like playing up a little bit of blush just to bring back a little bit more color in my face. If you guys missed this video, don't forget it will be saved at the end. Okay, so I'm going to take our blush. This is the Bootylicious Mineral Baked Blush. It's a really pretty peachy pink tone. In the summertime, I love a brighter pink. It just makes your apples of your cheeks really pop. And this will tie in the contour together, and you'll see. So you take any fluffy brush, and with blush, I just like to fake smile a little bit. And I put on the apples of my cheeks and bring it up, almost blending it into the bronzer. You don't want to have the blush take over, but everything should marry each other. So I just smile, circular motions, and then whatever is left, I just bring back up. And you see the difference in my face. It instantly lifts my face. I hope my lighting's okay. It's a little bright in here. There we go. Oh, no. Have you guys tried any of our blushes? I love them, especially the mineral ones. They have a light sheen, which is really, really nice. It just gives you like a very subtle glow, which I love for this time. I love my skin to look a little bit glowier. Thank you. I'm glad you guys like the side by side. I feel like it's the only way you can really see the difference. So I'm actually using a light called the makeup light, but it's a little bright in here now. There we go. So the contour that I used was the Wanna, for the powder, was the Wannabe Mineral Baked Bronzer. And if you wanted to use a cream, you can use any of our concealer shades in a deeper color. This is shade number 13, which normally when I'm not as tan is a lot stronger on me. I could probably even go to like a 15 or 16, but this is the shade that I would normally use when I'm not as tan, and that's the shade that I did use today. Ooh. So I'm going to also use a little bit of highlight just for the people who love highlight. It wouldn't be a complete look for you guys. So this is our mineral highlighter in the shade Satin. It's like a pinky tone highlighter. I love loose highlighters. This one is a super intense one. Hopefully it'll pick up on camera. So I wanted to show this because this is always a question that I get on where to apply highlighter. Highlighter should, or at least on my face and most faces, I like the highlighter to be right at the top of the cheekbone. So not directly under the eye because that's where our concealer is. You want to apply it right on top of the cheekbone, right in this area. So I just take the tip of my brush that I've been using, the light, 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 light tip, and I just go in circular motions. Let's see if you guys are able to see it. It's super blinding, this highlight. And then I won't put it directly on my cheek, but I will bring it down a little bit just because when you turn your face, you can see that glow right on your cheekbone. And like I said, everything will just marry together. So you have your contour here with your bronzer, your blush, and then your highlight. Yep, so I like to do the highlighter right at the end because you don't want to have shimmer everywhere. This is just like a nice topper. Sometimes highlight can emphasize texture, so you want to be really careful with it. So I just apply it right in this area. I haven't tried the blush yet. I have been using. Good, I'm so glad you're excited to try it. You could definitely just use powder contour if you don't want to do the cream. I just showed you guys both so you can see like the difference. If you use a cream, you always want to make sure you set it with the powder because cream moves. So you always want to make sure you set it with the powder, preferably like a bronzer or colored powder, so it emphasizes that contour. So that's a really good question, Amanda. Do I use highlighter on my nose at all? I actually don't like using highlighter on my nose personally. I know a lot of people love it on the tip. The purpose of contouring your nose is to, slim it out. I find that if you put highlight on your nose, highlight, you're bringing attention to something. If I want to slim out my nose and then put highlighter on it, I'm just bringing more attention to it. Does that make sense? So I personally, on me, don't like to, but I do like to put highlight on the cupid's bow, on the inner corner of my eyes, and just keep it on my cheekbone. On my nose, I like to keep it relatively matte without any shine. And again, if you do have oily skin, you want to be careful when applying highlighter on your chin and nose because the T-zone is typically the area where people of oily skin get oily. So you just want to make sure not to apply too much. So if you want to make contouring work without foundation, you can definitely just use bronzer and sculpt out your face. That's going to give you a really, really nice natural contour. So I would definitely recommend like a powder bronzer if you don't want to use foundation. If you prefer something even lighter, then just stick with this. So if you use 13 as your normal concealer, let's see, you can probably, I believe maybe 19. If you look on the website, there's really, really great photos of the color swatches of every shade. You just want to make sure you go a few shades deeper than your complexion so it shows up. Maybe 19 would be a color. You could probably go a little bit deeper just so it emphasizes. I hope that was helpful. I'm going to stick on for a few more minutes just to answer any questions you guys may have. And again, this will be saved if you guys missed any part of the contouring video. Let's see any of your questions. So Fatuma, if you're looking for a blush for your complexion, you feel like the pinks don't show up on your complexion, I recommend a deep peach tone or like a really deep rosy tone. Something with like a deep orange, almost like reddish undertone will definitely show up. Even berries are really pretty, like a deep berry tone. I'm sure someone here on the MAKIAGE team can recommend a shade. But yeah, the pinks, lighter pinks, they almost wash. They may wash you out if you have like a deeper complexion. You want to go with something a little bit richer in color. So that's a great question. If you already have strong cheekbones, you naturally are blessed. You do not need to overdo the contour. And that's the thing. Sometimes people with already high cheekbones, they think that they have to still contour, and you still can. It totally up to you and whatever you prefer, but you naturally don't need to contour too much. So I would honestly just recommend a bronzer because it's still warm It will bring back color to your face and just give you like that glow. Oh no. If you use contouring like a actual cool tone, it's definitely going to emphasize your cheekbones a lot more and make it even more defined. Yes, Waka Waka is a great shade actually. So to slim the nose, I like to apply it right on the bridge of my nose and a little bit more in. It's all about tricking the eye. So if you have like a wider nose that you want to slim, um, and your bridge is a little bit far out, you would go a little bit in and do two lines to slim that out. And so if you wanted to shorten your nose, you can actually apply the bronzer right at the tip, and this actually instantly shortens your nose. I hope I was able to answer all your questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Please don't forget to subscribe to MAKIAGE's YouTube here for more lessons. And also, don't forget to follow them on Instagram. I'll also link my Instagram handle for you guys. If you guys want to tag me in any of the looks that you create, if you guys were following along, you could definitely tag me in any of pictures you take with your makeup, or if you have any questions. Thank you guys all for joining. I really appreciate all 300 of you that are signed on right now. Thank you. Oh, let me type it. It goes away. There we go. Thank you guys all for joining. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you guys all stay safe and healthy during this time.